Wait, hold on. Don't you have a phone?
Yeah, but the camera isn't as good as the camera in this computer. But we're just going to have to hodgepodge to get, because we have to do it so quickly. We're just going to have to use what we've got right now.
It's very homey, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
That East Burke school is kind of small.
There's a lot less people.
We're all pretty close.
The school is so small, everyone knows each other, everyone's like pretty much friends with each other.
Everybody kind of knows everybody, and everybody's really nice to each other.
East Burke School is truly a unique place.
The biggest schools, very chaotic, noisy, lots of people, and so this was a nice alternative.
Being such a small population, such a small school, we are really able to dictate what works for us here. That gives us a good advantage over having to have a massive student population to worry about.
What you see here are the beginnings of our area's first food forest. We're creating from what was completely dead soil a demonstration center for a form of agriculture that actually restores the land rather than depleting it. In a few years' time, this will be filled with food-producing plants that will help feed our community for decades to come.
We'll come in, we'll do check-in, health checks, everything like that. Students have maybe 10-15 minutes to socialize, hang out, get themselves ready for the day. And then we'll have our morning stretch, where we all go around the circle. Everyone does a stretch just to try and warm the body up, limber up.
No room is like so big you don't feel noticed in it, but it's not so small you feel suffocated either.
Afterwards, we'll have our morning meeting where we discuss any new news, events.
Another note up there is we were thinking about having a movie night this Friday. Maybe like a campy, spooky movie, or like Twilight Zone would be awesome to show. So would you guys be? What's that face? Is he only half Twilight Zone?
No.
It's a really good show.
A really melodramatic. Dum dum dum. Go to commercial.
Then we break off into classes.
The classes themselves are great. They help us with future, help us with personal projects, help us decide what we want to do in the future.
This could be getting a lecture on new material.
I'm going to ask you guys to read something very short, but to read it very well.
They are more fun, though. The teachers make it more fun.
What's that word? Dane. And if you've ever seen a nice old 40s movie, they talk about the Danes.
Why do we sound like you?
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Yes, that's JFK. The Danes! What's a Dane? A lady, a woman. You start seeing how all of these are related. Senior.
Sounds like senior.
Sounds like senior.
The teachers are like, you're not trying to rush you into the next thing. They try to figure out how to make something a bit more easy to understand, and then when you finally understand it, they move on to the next thing.
Even if we're in a classroom, you still get more one-on-one. Like, they can spend more time with you than they would if you're in a normal-sized classroom. It was hard coming in here and getting into the rhythm of doing work constantly, and Charlie and Megan were both really pretty good about like letting me ease into it and helping me and pushing me to keep going.
You get to have a relationship with each other, and it's not a hi, do your work, kind of see you later, bye thing. It's not just like you're here for the classes.
Yeah, definitely, because it's smaller, and like if you need help with something, the teachers can focus more on you individually rather than having like 1,000 kids they have to look after every day.
Any other time I do math, I'm like terrible, but for once out of all times I've done math, this year I've done like great.
So your goal today is to look back over whatever stage you're at, look back over your paragraph.
Classes are, yes, a little challenging as it should be. You know, you don't want anything to be too easy. And it is a lot more on the fun side. But at the same time, it's still really serious work.
We're trying to prepare kids to be more self-sufficient, live more sustainable lifestyles, because there's a lot of uncertainty in the future. So
You get to
explore kind of what you like to do and what you want to be, possibly.
Student passion really has a place here. Student interest has a place here in a way that it really can't in larger schools.
You get to explore your creative side, whether it be woodworking or anything, really, music.
It feels very personalized. It's very, very one-on-one, which is another reason why I came here, to get that one-on-one learning experience to help me where I struggle.
It's better for people who have a lot of anxiety going into high school from small schools.
You get to know each of the teachers a lot better. You get to know all the students better.
All this stuff.
What's that stuff? Great example, right? And hold it up.
They're all pretty amazing.
We get to actually choose our classes. We vote on what type of language we get to study.
We do French, we do Latin,
Spanish, ancient Greek.
We get to vote what we want to learn in history, stuff like that.
Every year we teach something different.
We've gotten to offer an astounding variety of classes here.
Cryptozoology, a general zoology course, but we approached it from the side of kind of like mythical monsters and things like that. Da Vinci's machines, just looking at all simple machines and the physics behind what Da Vinci was doing. A lot of the kids were interested in flight, so we build model airplanes, build model rockets.
2, 1.
The French Revolution, the nature of revolution and social change.
I'm teaching financial literacy. Megan has offered self-defense.
Civics, career and college writing.
Charlie did a Bob Ross painting class.
The history of Athens and Sparta. The history of Vikings. Greek mythology, which is one of my favorites to teach. A course on dystopian literature.
Science of sci-fi. Looked at different science fiction like comics and movies and tried to find the hard science behind that.
Going to pitch a combination theater class with backstage tech to engage our more introverted students who like to build and work on making things like sets or figuring out the technology that runs sound and lights. And then on-stage acting for our extroverts who like to be loud and dramatic.
No, not 2 thumbs up. You gotta do the 1.
Not 2.
Oh my gosh, Kyla! I can see where you're coming from. Kyla,
Oh my goodness.
How was that interview? Was that a good interview? Yeah, civics. I like civics because, one, I'm very political and I always talk about like politics and stuff like that.
The Greeks, history was much more about looking at something that is right now, that exists right now, and inquiring, asking into it. How did that happen? How did we get here? Take this building as an example. This is a weird building. It is, right?
Really, our schoolhouse is a great symbol of who we are. It's an amalgam of different materials from different eras.
We've got a room that is part library, part art room, part mad scientist laboratory.
We have like hodgepodge to all these things together to make this work as a school. We have some really weird rooms that are not set up in a way that a school is usually set up.
Think of the podcast room. On one side, there's what clearly used to be an exterior wall and window, separated by soundproofing blankets from a very awkwardly shaped nook. And then there's the humanities classroom. Part of the ceiling in that space juts into the room at a 45-degree angle.
How did this happen? This place is supposed to be a school, and yet there is this room. Where are we going to look to find the answer?
What was this building originally?
Yeah. We look to the past, right? We look to what it was originally.
The awkwardly shaped rooms are part of an addition built onto the original 1800s schoolhouse so that it could be converted into a small manufacturing facility.
A sewing factory, and then it was a radio station.
That history explains why this building is the way it is. Our history explains why we are the way we are.
That's exactly what we're doing with this class. So our goal in this class, more than anything else, is going to be to inquire into that history, to understand why people are feeling the way they're feeling in this country, so that we know how to be better people as we interact.
A lot of the conversation-based lessons, because it's not just a teacher talking at you, it's students that you are interacting with and building conversations together. And so you're actually doing something and speaking.
Yeah, but like just clicking the spamming the
What do you know? You broke your whole country. I mean, Xbox.
No, my country's buttons don't work.
Literally.
We can buy a new one.
Is this basically where we find ourselves?
Yes, at the moment.
In a country whose buttons don't work?
Yes.
Every semester there's at least one class that has that kind of aspect to it.
This high school, we can actually go for walks. There's trails.
You're not necessarily stuck in a classroom all day.
We get a lot of trust in this school, like letting us go out during lunchtime.
Going down to the park together and hanging out. We're all friends. We all talk.
All different ages.
Yeah, exactly. All different ages, all different interests.
You know what? It's a nice day out. Let's go for a walk, and we'll kind of ad-lib this as we go.
That was a chipmunk.
Is that a chipmunk?
I don't know.
Or is
Is
it a
that a
red
bird?
squirrel? So we're not just using our eyes to make observations. We're using our ears.
Oh, there! It's right there!
So these buds, they're really long and really sharp. If you poke your eye out on it, it's a beach.
That really nice in between where you have a decent amount of work, or you're not struggling, and it's not too easy, but it's like just perfect.
You just said it.
Definitely for people who like going outside.
There's a saying, friendly fir, spiky spruce. Or if you go to shake its hand, it's not spiky, it doesn't stab you. Right?
wow.
So this is a black cherry.
Oh! They're
Yeah.
really good about that.
So these trees are actually really threatened by this black knot disease. Moose love to eat these, but they'll also chew around the base of the tree and actually peel the bark off it. And they'll peel big, long strips up the tree. So that's a really good way to tell if you have a moose in your area.
It's more hands-on learning.
Last year we had a lathe, so I made this little handle. This year I'm hoping to make something out of that handle.
I wanted to test the legitimacy of a commercial for flex glue, so I just decided to make a chair. I didn't use any screws or nails, I just used flex glue because I wanted to know if it really worked, and it did work.
Very hands-on, doing a lot of work.
I got to use a lathe and discovered a passion for woodworking that I probably never would have pursued unless I had seen the option here and tried it out.
We had a project to see if we could make sort of like a raft out of a cardboard box and duct tape. Which is about as fun as it sounds.
Decided, let's just make cardboard boats and float down the Passumpsic River. As kind of a challenge to the students. We had all this cardboard in the building. It was like, well, what should we do with it? So we bought, I think, a few dozen rolls of duct tape and split the kids up into teams. And we built cardboard boats and could see who could make it from point A to point B.
So I had about half of a kayak hat and a leaky cardboard box. And I remember Brandon recording me asking me how my first week was at EBS.
What do you think of your first week at East Burke School?
Exhausting.
We had one very successful group. It was really, really cool. And then one very unsuccessful group, which was hilarious.
Cardboard duct tape boxes floating down the river.
You know, they took it in stride and were laughing as much at themselves as at, everything else.
One of my favorite traditions here at EBS is Cider Day.
It's an EBS tradition.
The kids showed up, not quite prepared to do this, but we ground, pressed, and bottled.
It didn't really feel like that much apples until Megan actually said 600 pounds of apples in only 2 days.
With a hand-cranked grinder and press, processed all of those apples into cider that we sell as a fundraiser.
It was a really fun, kind of social project.
Everyone had so much freedom, and this is more of a community, and we all contribute and we all help.
I feel like that at other schools, it's either you're social or you're learning. And so those that are trying to learn don't get that social aspect, and those that are trying to be social don't get that learning aspect. And here they balance both of those out pretty well. So you're getting both of those.
We all go by first names here.
We are really friendly with each other. We are a lot more open.
It makes me feel much less like I have to put on a persona to be a teacher.
I definitely like being able to mess around with the cooking more, especially since that's something that I want to learn to do.
Most of the students, if not all of them here, and the teachers are really interested in self-sufficiency. They're interested in learning how to provide for themselves.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. You know, it keeps me learning too, and that's a great part of the job. We're sometimes learning right alongside the students.
I wanted to find a place where teachers and students alike could be treated like humans rather than numbers.
You get to spend time with people, you get to know people, you get to do stuff with people, and it's not just like you're here for the classes.
That's definitely not something that would have happened at my high school.
I think everybody has a funny side to them. I think everybody is pretty funny here. Teachers, they're funny. They try to be. So.
They might try to be more funny.
Do we succeed? Are we funny?
Yes.
You're kidding me! Like, I didn't know that like computers ran out like electricity.
Don't do that ever.
That's on camera too. That's being recorded.
I know everybody says this, but this really is like a family. Megan and I bring our dogs to school, Lupin and Scotty.
What's down there, Lou?
And the students love it. They're the school mascots in some ways. Charlie brings his son Everett all the time.
Come on, it's pretty everyone go on the red couch.
He's the headmaster now. That's the real answer. Who's in charge here? Yeah.
We cook meals together here. We have movie nights and little outings together.
Because they're so small, we're able to tend to each of our students as individuals with unique needs.
Also, you don't have grades. There's no grades here.
Instead of letter grades, we have narrative evaluations.
I just know that I'm not getting attacked by letters.
I really do feel like this could be a place for everybody, no matter their personality or likes or dislikes. It is small, but it's also a good place to broaden your people skills.
We've spent a lot of time thinking about who we are as a school and what we want to offer to the students in the area.
Definitely for somebody who wants to know how to go out there and get a career or go into college. Definitely somebody who wants to learn.
I wish this school was around while I was in high school.
What we really want our students to leave us with are a sense of self, a sense of purpose, and a sense of agency. We want our students to be independent thinkers who don't bend to the whims of the majority, but have their own ideas that they have taken the time to examine. We want them to have a vision for a better world, along with the confidence and skills to realize that vision cooperatively. We want them to recognize that while they need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, they also need each other as neighbors.
You get to actually go to school here during this pandemic, and I think, like, personally for me, going to school is a way better option than just being online. I feel like I personally get distracted at home a lot, so I'm definitely better when I'm at school because I can set my brain and I can set myself to be on the right track to learn.
If you have some way to like talk to someone you know, just go ahead and interact.
Don't let other people's assumptions drive your choice.
I want to be able to have that experience. I want to be able to learn. I want to be able to better my education so that one day when I do end up going to college, I do have the skills and I do have that sense of knowledge.
We are a place for students who have a clear direction in life, and we're also a place for students who are searching for that direction and need guidance.
Part of being so small is that we know that not everyone will get to join us. We want to wish you luck in high school wherever you go.
Good luck on your high school choice, whatever you may choose.
And just never stop trying to achieve even the smallest of things.
You have something in the future to look forward to.
Your future is in your hands.
Awesome. Thank you, Jazz. That was great.
No more if it's stepping on the wall.
Hey Everett, can you say bye?